Hello, hello. I hope someone can hear me. Um, I just need to quickly access the chat so I can even see you because I forgot. But if you're here, welcome. This is nothing special. Thank you. We're just going to quickly jump into the Ark game. Hi. Thanks for letting me know. So the Ark challenge is this game. I don't know if you've seen that. So you're given kind of these boards, and there's always an input and an output. And so the left one is always the input, the right side is always the output. By the way, this is by Alexei Borsky, a nice website, the Ark game. You can find it on GitHub and a link to it. So the left side is the input, the right side is the output, and you are supposed to do the pattern. Recognize the pattern from left to right, from left to right, from left to right. So this one is an easy one. It's basically, the rule, as you can see, is there's always twice the same thing, like next to each other or here on top of one another. And you are required to fill out this test sample right here. So I guess we can do that. Actually, if you click on the left thing, it will actually copy it over to the right side, which just happens to be the perfect solution here. But you can, fill in anything you want right here. If we did it manually, we would do it like this. So I'll just copy like the top part here, this, and like this. And you can check whether you get it correct. And we got it correct. Okay, very nice. Actually, I should probably, so let me, OBS, let me put some sort of a banner right here of what we're doing. No, you cannot win a 3090 at this time. So we are solving Ark. Cool. Yeah. So Ark challenge is this thing. All of these are really simple for humans, but really tough for machines. So here you see, and you can't even formulate it, right? There's just there's lines. So you're kind of supposed to just take the color that is not the lines, maybe, I guess. So we'll just fill all of this with blue. And we got it correct. Nice. So they get from simple to quite hard. So yeah, you can check it out for yourself. The dataset has about 400 training example, and every single example is do you have a link to Ark? Yes, sorry. Yeah, I should probably. So there's different things. I'll put a link to this thing. Yeah. I'll put a link here. So yeah, these go from easy to super hard, but for humans they're never hard. But for machines, as you can imagine, they're quite hard. And every one of them uses kind of like a different notion. So there's not twice, there's rarely twice the same kind of logic behind how you solve these games. I've never tried Google's foobar coding challenge. I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I've done actual coding challenges. However, we at our Discord have decided to give this a little bit of a shot. So we have, I should probably, I think this is public. github.com Ark community, maybe? Yeah, exactly. So there you can see a bunch of repos, and we've just started. So my goal in this repository right here is to provide a little bit of a framework, or of evaluating these things. And I got pretty far so far. So the idea is that I have a test right here. The idea is that you would implement an agent. So an agent is this thing. And the agent implements a method called solve test sample. And there you get a list of training samples. These are these 3 samples or so. And you get a test board, and you're supposed to output top K list of solutions. Top K list is simply a list of boards. So you're supposed to output boards. You can make use of these hints right here, although you will not get any points in the final result if you do, but for a start, that you can use that. The task data simply contains the top K that you're supposed to output. So it's pretty simple, and you simply need to implement this method, and then the goal here is that I then take your agent and evaluate it on the data set, give it a nice report and so on, so that you can try yourself. Like, how would you go about programming an algorithm that can solve these types of tasks, which is really hard, especially there's only 400 training examples, as I said, and 400 test examples, and no 2 examples use the same logic. You just need to generalize from like essentially the in-context learning right here. And yes, you could use a large language model for this, but GPT-4chan made you notorious, meaning I wasn't notorious before. No, yeah, that was quite something. But we're back to family-friendly stuff. Absolutely no one's gonna complain about colory squares, right? So this is completely controversy-free. That's why it's a good project. So here is an implementation of a cheating agent. So the cheating agent, as I said, you can use these hints right here. And one of the hints is actually the output. And the output will just give you the solution, right? So the cheating agent actually looks at the output and just returns that. And, good enough. And in fact, it will be recorded in the hints that you actually access that. So we'll have that in the evaluation. So the goal now that I have today is to finish this setup of this evaluation code so people can actually use it productively, let's say. I already have code to download the data set and so on, but I'm having a bit of trouble when it comes to metrics. So metrics, in my mind, is this thing, and we can look at it. So a metric could be like accuracy. Accuracy is like, or correctness, whether or not you solved a sample correctly. That's kind of the most basic metric, but there can be more metrics, right? There can be how much of the pixels you got correct and so on. So these aren't counted in the end, you only get a point if you get it exactly correct. However, they can tell you something about the progress you're making. So my idea of a metric is it has 2 methods. One is compute, and you would give that a single result, right? A single evaluation result you would give to the metric. It will produce something. For example, right, did you solve the riddle correctly? And the aggregate function then would aggregate this across all of the evaluation results, all of the riddles. So one metric that I implemented here is the correctness metric, as you can see right here. So this would compute over all the test examples of one riddle, the minimum value. So essentially you get 1 if you get all the riddles correct. And it would then aggregate across all of them in a mean fashion. So the result of this metric would be how many or what fraction of riddles of the data set did you get correctly? That's it. Now, so far, what I've done is I have implemented these as property of the evaluation result. You can see here is the evaluation result. That's constructed as your agent outputs a solution. This is done. And here I have metrics results in it, and I don't really like it. I think the metric, you should be able to save the evaluation result and then compute maybe the metric even later on that evaluation result. So we're gonna rip out the metrics results from here and the aggregation results from this eval result list, which I also construct, and then hopefully how good is the state of the art on Arc? I believe it's really weak. Like, it's certainly below 20% or so, or 30% solved, or even weaker. Like, it is quite weak. There's not a good algorithm yet, and it has some properties, right? You actually need to hard code human priors. That's actually, it's in the paper. So yeah, it's tough. All right, so I'm gonna rip essentially out these metrics results right here, and I'm going to manage the metrics results externally. So let's say, so here we have, yeah, no, okay. So here is a metric, and the metric we can actually also rip out into its own file. So let's say into the metrics file. Why not? So we have a metric right here, like that, and oopsie. Is the eval result in the interface? Yes. Okay, so we'll import that. We already have it. Okay. And we need that. The eval result here cannot be a string anymore. Okay. I mean, this is already good enough. Can you share? You set up the vimrc. So yeah, the IDE is NeoVim. And I am currently really strongly considering redoing my vimrc. So first, I want to use the Lua configuration of NeoVim, and I want to like get different plugins, because these have become quite a mess. You will also see if you watch me code that like the loading bar is currently going all the time and stuff. So it's really become not good and jumbled. So I'll redo it, and once I've redone it and I'm actually proud of the setup, then I can maybe share it. But I'm using relatively standard plugins. I'm also using COC, I'm using Copilot, and yeah, I don't actually know if Copilot works in this, because I'm using Python 3.9 and NeoVim complained. Anyway, so we get compute and aggregate, and so the problem here a little bit is well, yeah, I will make these actually underscore functions, because we can then track. So a pattern that I like to use often is anything wrong with VS Code. It's not Vim. That's kind of the only thing. So, you know. Okay. And good. I know this seems pointless, but it is not. Because yeah, it is not pointless, because you can give users kind of the opportunity to override this, but you still have a hook into it, right, with the non-underscore functions. As a framework developer, it's an interesting pattern that I think makes sense a lot of times if you want to give people, the opportunity to subclass things, and you can still do logging and track access and so on in the non-underscore function. Especially here, we now have the opportunity to, instead of this, give the eval results list. No, I missed by one. Okay, see, it's kind of slow, so yeah. So now here we have to, so out of the eval results list, we have to fish out. No, actually, yeah. So now we get into trouble, right? Let's say we just cancel this for now, and we make these into underscores. So when we eval something, we have a result, and then we want to compute a metric on it, and that gives us a metrics result, right? And in that case, it's any. Now I'm going to play around with the typing or something, but in our case, it's just kind of any. So that's just a result. We need to store that result somehow in a data structure. So let's go over to the eval here. So here we have apply metrics. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go, see, now there's the problem. We'll go by metric. We'll go through all the results. What are your thoughts on the Minerva model? I have not read, I will read the paper as soon as possible, but I'm really trying to get this done so the community can actually use this code. But it's super cool. And I think that, so I've read it a little bit, but not in detail, but my opinion so far is data quality is really king, right? They just parse. I've also talked to some people about it, and it seems like how well you can parse PDFs and stuff and LaTeX is a big part of your data quality, and the data quality directly influences the results. So better take good care of your data, right? Right, it actually pays off to clean your data well and pre-process it well and so on. Seems to be a real boost. All right, so now we're going through every result. So for eval result, actually we can just ask Copilot here. See, metric result. Okay, so we get a result for each of these, and we can probably make this into a list comprehension actually, because metric.compute like this. So that's metric results. So for every riddle, we now have a result. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give that to the aggregation function. So metric.aggregate. Now it depends on how we've implemented this, right? Let's go over to the metric. And so what do we have here? We have the eval results, and we also need a list of metrics results. Metric results. These are the things that have been computed by compute above. List any for now. It's not pretty. It's not pretty, but you know, that's what we get. Yes, I think that's that. We can also have that exact same interface right here, and we can just replicate this here. I'm not even, it's reckless to not check Copilot output, but sometimes you're just so confident that you can just give it to Copilot. All right, so now what we need is a data structure that keeps all of this stuff, right? Again, we're going to probably go to metric, and we are going to we'll need Pydantic. If you don't know Pydantic, very good library. Like data classes, except cooler. Metric result. Yeah, why not? Let's call it metric result. So it's like data classes, but nicely serializable, nice print functions, and to JSON, from JSON, and so on, and with validators, really nice things. So the metric result here. Now, the only issue I have a little bit is the task has several riddles, right? And they're just in a list. Now, the metrics results also, obviously you'll get a list of results. The question is, can we simply like have two lists and sort of implicitly be like, well, the first element is the first element and the second corresponds to the second? That's really not very nice, but I don't know, like we would need to make everything into like a dict. That's also not particularly nice. So I think I'll just stick with the list. So I'm going to say eval. Okay, how are we calling these? Let's call them riddle results. And this is a list. And this is like aggregation result. Okay. Now let's call that compute results, because the method is compute, and aggregate results. And we'll still need to do something about that any, but I will have to read the Python documentation on typing to really see how we can do this with inheritance and so on. Because the idea is that you could define your output type here, and then the type checker could make sure that you'll get the same thing. For now, it's just any. I'm sorry. Okay. I know you can do type var, but I don't know how that behaves with inheritance. Although, I think you could here, you should be able to do something and then have that show up. Can we? Okay, maybe we'll do this. All right. Generics. Generic. Aha. Okay. So a generic type is from an instantiation of this class. Yes. Generic. Okay. Must be a subtype of something. We could do this, right? We could have inherit from generic, and then we could, yeah, okay. From typing generic. And then here we'd have generic T. Now T isn't known, so we also need a type var. T equals type var metric type. What's wrong with that? Okay. Let's just do it. Let's just say it's T. So we can have all of these be T, 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 T. Right? Okay. And then we need to just take care that here. So now I'm wondering, here this is a float. And then we get a float right here. Right? And this here is also a float. I'm feeling like a duper super programmer. And obviously, okay, pydantic and generics, do they play well? Do they go with one another? Let's check it out. I'm not sure. But okay. I see the problem. Interesting. Yes, we're doing API stuff. Generics from Java. Yeah, Java is a mess, especially generics. However, generic models. There we go. Generic models are only supported. That's fine. That's fine too. That's okay. So here we have generic model, generic data T. Okay, seems like we have to inherit from generic model. Can we do that? You see the, yeah, pyrite is going. And generic T. And then here we get a T. I'm still not super satisfied because well, how about we have aggregate actually output the result, right? Like that. Like this. And well, here we can't have metric results. We'll need to call it compute results too. Sorry, I'm neglecting chat. Are we doing API stuff? Yes, we're doing API stuff. Hopefully. Okay. Compute results. Now we're ready to... Everything's called result. I suck at naming things. So, yes. Thank you, Copilot. That is quite nice of you. Okay. All right. So the compute method is fine here. Is all fine. All good. And the aggregate method is fine. And now we simply need to implement, we'd have to change the definition of this aggregate right here. So here we have a class doing mean aggregation. If you see this needs to be a float, obviously, if it's some sort of a mean. And yeah, that's it. If not, okay. Yep. Can you plug Copilot in Vim as... Yes, Tim Pope himself actually wrote the Copilot plugin and does not accept pull requests currently. So, but yeah, exactly. Get value. Where do I have this? Get value gives a float. I think this is fine. Luckily, oopsie. Luckily, I have written tests. Let's see how that goes. That is good. Very good. Very excellent. What do you mean? What could not be done? But it says here, oh, generics. Okay. All right. Nope. Generics. There we go. Okay, now our problem is that in eval, we can't import metric. That makes sense. Do we need it? We actually need it. Okay. Good. And metric compute, eval result, tuple is not compatible. Oh no, see, now we get into typing issues. So we're in the eval results list, which is, we actually need to access eval results. Eval result list dot eval results. Actually, we could just extract that here. Like this. And we're pretty good, I think. Let's see. Wow, that's slow. All right, that's better. So this has no attribute. Oh, oops. This has no attribute aggregation results. Okay. Aggregate. I called it aggregate result. Yeah, so now the tricky part is, yeah, we are not done by a long shot. See here, I say apply metrics, okay? This applies the metrics. Now, what is it going to do? It's going to call compute, and that is fine. Are trying to make an API for metric eval. Yes, exactly. So I'm trying to write code for other people to use to evaluate their agents on the ARC challenge. If you're new here, the ARC challenge is this thing. This, yes. So we are here, and we then call aggregate. Aggregate takes the results list and the results from compute. So we'll actually rename that to compute results. We'll rename that to eval result list, and we'll get a metric result out of that. So now we get a result per metric. Now, the metric result, the metric itself has a name. Therefore, the metric result should probably also have a name. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yes, it does. It does make a lot of sense. So good. All right. The metric result now has a name, and metric results. Ta-da. We'll add that to the list. We'll return that list. We'll say here that is a list of metric result. A metric result will import from here. All right, so now we just need to, what's the console text editor? This is NeoVim, which is very slow because I'm streaming. I have the camera as like an external camera feed over an HDMI. I have a second screen that is streaming to the iPad. I'm running Copilot, and this is an API, but I'm running a Pyrite language server in the background. So this thing is stressed, but it works. It's fine. And my hard disk is almost full. which I figured is not good. Like if you're below 10%, things get slow. Need to clean up. All right. We'll have the eval test right here. So this thing now, if you apply metrics, you should get a list of these metric results, right? Which correspond to or these metrics here. So the issue is it's just a list. How would you explain the reasoning of the correct answer to a kid that failed the question? Yeah, it's like you can't. Like a lot of times, it is just human intuition-y type of things. So here, for example, look at that. So there's just like the lower left or the top right thing goes to red and the lower left things go to blue. Now, that contains so many human assumptions, like, you know, what is a thing? What is an object, right? We recognize these same color thing as the object, and maybe we recognize even the black pixels as the background. But to an algorithm, there's no objects, there's just pixels, and there's no things, and there's no inherent separation and so on. No, oh, come on. What? That is mad. What did I do wrong? No, I'm right. No. See, I don't even like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm pretty sure this is no. Oh, come on. Nah. Well, we'll have to live with failing this one. The bigger ones are red. Maybe it's the smallest one. That's or the one that no is, or the one that no. Is CodePilot good or bad? It's very good. Smallest is red. Okay, let's try that. I'll make this blue. And I'll make this red. All right. Good job. Good job, chat. Robbie. Encode the whole thing with clip, then test the similarity. Will not work. Will not gonna say it's not work. Will probably not work because clip is trained very much on natural images. It like the capability of like abstracting to like seeing objects in these types of things is very hard. The challenge seems similar to the Measure of Intelligence paper. Yeah, it's actually from that paper. The last chapter in that paper describes this challenge. So, yeah. A different object is different column. That could have been it too. Yes. All right. So the issue right now is we have a metric result, right? But we'll just get a list. So I would like to have like a thing. Maybe I'll just return a dict, but it's good to have some sort of a type. So we'll say a metrics result, metrics dict is a dict that goes from a string to a metric result, right? And we'll put that down here. Yep. I guess that's cool. So what we can then do, and we actually don't need the any anymore. That's good. It's always a good sign. So in eval, what we can do, instead of just having a list right here, we can have a metrics result dict. We can instantiate that here. And we can not append, but add that here. Cool. And then this is no longer a list, but this is now a dict. That seems fine. So now the last thing we'll actually need is we'll need to create a kind of like a unified package of all of this. So we now have metrics that we call, right? And I think what we should do last is some sort of report, right? So let's call that reports. Yeah, why not? Report. Okay, user bin env Python. We'll make it pydantic. Report. Base model. Okay. And all right, so the report is going to be generated by eval. So what do we need in a report on this thing? Let's make this a bit bigger so you all can see. Oopsie. Hey, this crashed. All right. Let's split it. So we'll certainly need the eval result list, right? Yeah. So from interface, import eval result list. Then we need these metrics results. So import metric result dict. Metric result dict. Yes? Okay. Then what do we need? We may need like what data set was used, maybe? Maybe? Who knows? Let's consider eval again. We may need a date time, like, can we do that? So yeah, we can do that, right? Sure, why not? This top of the screen is cut off. Oh, I'm sorry. That is... How about this? Or this? Yeah, better. A bit more. Yeah, so a date time to check when the report was generated. Do we want to call this like metadata or so? Maybe not. Import datetime. So, how about this? Field with a default factory. Oh, okay, now it's trying to get it right. I think this is okay. Cool. Yep. We can give it, I don't know, tags? How about, oh yeah, the data set. Maybe that is also a good thing. So I have a dataset utils class right here, and these subdirs, let's say subdirs list of string, and we'll also we'll also comment, maybe comment string, something like this, right? Something that packages all of these things together and then saves it down. So these are all either Pydantic models or standard models. So we are going to, and this one doesn't even have to be here. All we need is the eval results, really. And now we can have various methods to actually render this, or yeah, so we can have various representations of that. However, I'm not sure if I want to implement stir right here. Would augmenting tag the stream with ASMR? Okay. Would augmenting example with natural descriptions help? Maybe. I don't know. Could you create a program to procedurally generate similar puzzles with a text label to train on, like an L or an I system, then learn to generate the text from the sample as a result from the text? Yeah, probably. I mean, if you can come up with text descriptions, but again, there's 400 test examples, which is not too many. So a lot of deep learning type of things are out of the question, at least without help. But generating data is one of the things, one of the routes we are considering, yes. But the question is how, because, you know, you need to build in these human priors like gravity and objectness and so on. So I don't want to, let's save to file. File name. No, we'll go OS. So all of this from path lib import path. We'll make this a path like. Very good. Thanks, Copilot. So this saves the report to a file. Now the eval here, it currently evaluates agents on riddle, and on riddles it applies metrics. Now we need a function that well, it's a good question. What we now need is a function. How can I improve my coding skills? Have you heard of bit tensor? I have heard of it. My current opinion is that it's buzzwords, but I've not looked into it very clearly. I hear there's an interview on Towards Data Science, but I've not listened to it. How can I improve my coding skills? Just code and look at other people's code and submit pull requests to stuff and take the feedback with a grain of salt, but take it seriously. Or join a company that has some good standards or something. Or look at coding guidelines from big companies, because they for some reason they have survived, and that's a challenge if you code with a lot of people. So they need good standards. All right, so we now need a last function that does everything, maybe at once. I'm not sure. That kind of loads. So if we load the data set, we say evaluate, we say apply metrics, and then we ship this all in, we shove it all into report. That should technically, do all the things. But we could do it in the CLI. Yes, probably we should do it in that CLI. So there's a CLI. By the way, I'm really proud of the CLI. So you can do something like, so if you type arc, that's the CLI if you've installed the thing. So you can do help. You can do arc show random ID. It will show you one of the tasks. That's a bit of a big task, but maybe I zoom out see, it will show you like a random ID puzzle, which is pretty cool. And then you can try to solve it. This is all in console. That's why it's especially cool. So, yeah, we need one thing that evaluates an agent on a data set. And that's going to be the kind of last thing. Now the question is, can I load an agent from... Can I load an agent from this? So eval... Can we import the dataset thing from eval? Because probably. Clip happens to know physics. It also fears its own mortality. No, not clip. But yeah, that was a fun, certainly a fun thing. I'm just trying to think how we best do this. How about we make an example? So let's make, not here, let's make examples. Like that, out here. Actually, let's move that into a directory called examples. So we'll take that cheating agent. Maybe I should... Maybe I should move this to this, like base, like that seems pretty good. And then we can do an init file, right? And just import the agent from import agent. We'll all it out. Good. All right, and then we can have the cheating agent inside of this one. So let's go to the eval test, rip out the cheating agent like this, put it in here from agent, import task data, board hints, board pair, board top K list. I think we have it now. Board hints isn't exported. Oh, that's from hints maybe. I guess we need to export all of these from Arc anyway. Challenge seems to be solvable with only low-level priors, but high-level priors, a sequence of translation with reasoning is made up of more primitive priors. Yes, but also there's not an arbitrary combination. That's also one of the challenging things. So I don't really know how to. Yeah, so we should be able to import all of these from Arc, I think. Like this. So let's make that happen. Here. Yeah, from import agent, task data, we'll also need from import board hints, hints certainly. We'll also need the top K list right here. I hope that's enough. Good. All right. So this cheating agent, as I said, is able to just look at from arc import star. No, bad. Didn't someone ask how can I improve my coding? Not with star imports. Although sometimes it's just quick. I think, yeah. Especially if you want to do something quick. So the cheating agent will import that then in the eval test right here, because we can. We don't need any of these anymore except task data. From arc dot. Yep, I need to restart. Whenever I make a new file, I need to restart. Like that's dumb. Something's wrong with my setup, clearly. So, does this still run? See how slow this is? It's terribly slow. Yep, has no attribute aggregation results. Yeah, so now is the part where we have to actually change the test. So here is the metrics. Yep, here we have the eval results. I would call that result list. Apply the metrics. Yes, that will give us a metric result dict. Yep. And How about that? Garbage collector. Yeah, maybe. Ah, okay. I need to aggregate result. Yes. Hopefully. Good. Test passes. Wow. Let's look at it. Okay. Commits. Metrics. Okay, now we need like a last function that just generates the report from the riddles, and then maybe one that also loads the data set. Sorry. And then we're good. Do it again. Okay, any in interface. Ah, yeah, I see. Go, 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 go. Excellent. Okay, ship it. And yeah, we'll go on. So let's go to eval. Let's evaluate agent on riddles. No. No. How do we call this? I want to take something that's takes riddles, metrics, and generates a report. Essentially, it's just going to call the things above. So it'd be evaluate agent on riddles and apply metrics and generate report. No. It's hard. It's hard. Report from riddles. That's not too bad. All right. Let's do this. Evaluate R3. And metrics. So essentially, we'll do the exact same thing as we did before. No, not evaluate on riddles. Report from riddles. That. Yes. 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 No, not metrics results. I want a report. Apply metrics. The report, does it have, how about instead, because we'll just call that eval results, metric results. That should be good. All right, return report. Oh no, results. Evaluate and report. That is a good name. Very good name. Evaluate. Evaluate on riddles. Good. And here I want evaluate on dataset and report. So instead of riddles, we'll take subdirectories. No, actually that's fine. That's just good enough. Very good. Apply metrics has everything it needs. Good. Nice. All right, so format it. Good. Now we can, I still don't know how we should get the agent now in there, but we can make an example. We can rewrite the eval test right here to this. So let's have yep. This, that. Actually, yeah, let's just say evaluate and report. And let's rename it. Good idea. Very good idea. What plugins are you using? I don't know. I've lost overview myself. So, you know. And that should probably optionally take metrics, right? Because, yeah. No, let's do it right. If metrics is none. Yep. Yep. Cool. We don't need apply metrics. This will do it all. So yep. Yep. Okay. Now the one thing I think we also need is we'll need some default metrics, right? Get default metrics. And that should give us a list of metrics. And that would return, yeah, why not, these two. So here we can actually, instead of this, we can say default metrics, because most people are just going to use the default metrics. Test it again. And good. So I have about more 5 to 10 more minutes of time. And I'm going to use that to probably make an example. And the example is going to be pretty much just the test. So here is the example. Let's Da-da-da-da. Copilot, go. Thank you. Arc agents, cheating, import the cheating agent. Will from arc.metrics import default metrics and eval. So, oh yeah, the riddles. Yes, now what we'll actually need is also the data set from utils. Maybe we should, the evaluate and report, maybe we could export that somehow in Arc, because it might be very common, right? So like this. Good. Okay. The task data. How do we know if it's not a bot and Copilot? Yeah, we'll need get riddles from the training subdirectory. That's fine. Okay. And the task data, let's say top K is 3. Correct fraction. Now this is going to be 1, hopefully. Let's try it out. Let's go to examples. Let's try it, and we'll see. We should probably have some sort of indicator of the progress and stuff. I think that would be something, no? Well, correct fraction 1. Yeah. So do we have a logger already? From 3 months ago, he looked more jacked. That is true. That is actually true. I have not had time to work out too much. Was busy getting cancelled. So info evaluating agent on some riddles. Let's spin here. Evaluate agent on riddles. This goes up here, probably. That's better. Let's put in some Tuckadum here. Do we have it in the requirements? Do we have it in the setup? We have it. Good. So Where was I? Just now. There we go. All right. Let's see how that works. Nice. Does wearing shades make you a better coder? Didn't know Vim had autocomplete functions. It's plugins. It's language servers. Downloading. Get where get riddles. So here all right, that should do. Then the last thing, applying metrics. How about this? Let's try. We're loading the data set. Very nice. Evaluating. Very nice loading bar. Excellent. Now the apply metrics correct. Apply metric board size, correct fraction 1. We should probably... Good. And that is a really nice example. It's pretty simple if you ask me. And then you can store that to some file if you want. And you can probably also implement your own agent. But that's a task for another day. So yeah. Added example. Isn't it hard to see? Yes, especially if they're polarized. So if I do this, I can't see anything. But, you know. So in case anyone is interested in solving the ARC challenge, this is currently our community project on our Discord, which I hope you'll find. If not, it's like yculture.com/discord. In case you're interested, I will be pushing all of this code soon, and I'll also make a bit of I'll make more examples on how you can exactly interact with this, but ultimately you'll also be able to use the CLI for it. And yeah, and I'll make the reports do prettier outputs, and that will be that. I think that will go right here. You'll be able to load some sort of data set. Hopefully. Probably. Yes. You'll be able to load some sort of data set, generate a report. What is it? Yes, this is a library that you can use to evaluate your agents. What I don't know yet is how do apps like Flask and so on, or UVcorn, you give them like a file name, right? And they dynamically seem to load whatever is in the file name. So crap. How can we look this up? Python dynamically load class from file by file name or something. Import from dynamic file name. Yeah, see, I have a Python script, config file. Yes, exactly. So that is my problem. The import module to dynamic import modules. This is what we need. So this, I'll make it a bit bigger. Ah. Cool. So, yeah. Import module and then get adder. Hey, this isn't too hard. We could do that. We could totally do that. Okay, let's try. Let's try. We got 5 minutes. So we'll make a command. This is eval. Let's just call that. Yes. And that's going to take how should we do this? That's going to take like agent path or something. No. I want something like Flask has. So let's just do this, a string. Yeah, it's not particularly good. It's not a particularly good interface yet, but I'm not a fan of it yet. Subdir. I'm not a fan of it yet. How about we just do this for now? So what I want to do is I want to agent file path, agent class name is, as we split it, by this. So you would be able to do, hopefully, you would be able to do arc eval, and then you'd say something like arc or agents cheating agent dot cheating agent, like this, right? And use import lib. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good. We'll do it. So import module. But it needs to be in path. So we can't actually do this right here. We'll have to do, well, this is super duper slow. Like this. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Agent module name. Okay. Agent class. Very good. Copilot's doing all of this for me. Really, there's nothing I need to do. And now I need to evaluate it, right? So import evaluate and report. So I'll get my data set, get riddles, and we'll get we'll make later parameters, but report equals evaluate and report. No, that's just a function. Evaluate and report takes agent, riddles, task data, and metrics. Riddles, so from arc import task data and get default metric. That's probably also something we should put into arc itself, no? I think so. Yes. Yes. Good. Okay. Again, what do we need here? Agent, riddles, task data, and metrics. Okay, and then we print from the report. We probably want to print something like the metric results. Let's try. If this works, yes, it actually appears to work. Wow. Okay, now it just needs a bunch of parameters, and then it's cool. Yay! Very nice, very nice. Okay, yeah, it gets everything correct. Very cool. So yeah, we'll just be able to use the CLI. Added eval to CLI. This is gonna change a little bit, the eval, but I hope it's going to be useful. And that's that from me. I'll just push this. As I said, the repository is open. Discord community is open. We're currently just in the beginning stages of solving this. I hope we get farther than the people so far, and get actually something to work, which would be nice. All right, thank you everyone for being here. That was it. Just some chilling Saturday afternoon coding, and I have to do some actual work now. All right, thank you very much. Bye.